Hello, Legend Reader, and welcome back to some more Destiny 2, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Season of the Haunted review. And how do I say that this season was beyond interesting to me? I freaking love this entire concept of what they did this season, along with tying up the fact that we finally got to learn about the events of what has previously happened in previous seasons. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This season has really just surprised me. The fact that they waited till the last second, like the day of the season's release, to announce this, I gotta understand that this is Bungie trying to make us feel like, oh yes, this is the only way to make y'all get prepped and excited and hyped for future content. I'm already excited for future content. I just like to know what the heck's going on at this point. Because no offense, there's a lot of things that I'm thinking about that's gonna happen in the next season, and then none of those ideas happen and they all get shot down. But something even better that I never even thought of kicks in, and I'm sitting here just like, hey yo, how do I react to that? Do I complain? Do I just shut up and deal with it like a wuss? Do I just play the game? What the frick do I do right now? Because I feel like I should cry tears of joy and anger at the same time. But anyways, the season has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. The weapons, the armor, the freaking... I'm always a nerd when it comes to cosmetics in games, and every time a brand new major DLC or season comes out, you'll always find me, like the first couple of hours, not playing the game. You'll find me over at Tess Evers' shop, just inspecting every individual freaking ghost, sparrow, ship, armor piece, exotic, everything. I don't know why, but it's just a thing that I do. And I freaking love it, because the cosmetics is what keeps bringing me back into this game. Even though I don't often freaking find myself swapping out my armor set that often. But anyways, this season was amazing, just basically cosmetic, story-wise, as well as weapons. I'm not gonna lie, this story was amazing. The weapons are beautiful. Bringing back some of the Menagerie weapons was fantastic. And they didn't bring back all of the Menagerie weapons, they brought back certain of them for the primary game mode that they released, and then they brought back the rest of them for the Duality Dungeon, which, sadly, I've learned the Duality Dungeon like the back of my hand. Have I done it? No, I haven't. That's on me. That is sadly on me. But even then, disregarding the Duality Dungeon and their raid and their freaking stuff, just regarding the fact that they brought in brand new weapons with a horrifying new looks is absolutely glorious. Absolutely glorious. I can't explain some of these weapons without remorse and tears of contrition. Contrition? I'm guessing contrition. I explain the looks of this to someone. It looks like the metal was so horrified it twisted itself into a grimace smile. Seriously, how do I explain that a gun looked like it was happy to murder and torture me? How do you explain that into the form of a gun? The frickin' gun is molded, it's twisted, it's been nightmarified for halfway through the gun, and then it just turns into a regular gun throughout the rest of it. All of them are like this. They're twisted, they're horrific, they're nightmare, they're Reaper, without remorse, and no regrets. It's all fantastic. The lore behind each and every gun is just absolutely beautiful as well. Oh my god, and the fact that they're covered in gold with a slight freaking red effect to them makes this just even more glorious. And something that I'm even more happy that they did is they gave us another glaive too. Don't get me wrong, the design of the glaive was absolutely glorious. I just have not gotten a good glaive compared to my current one, the Enigma, that's made me want to swap over to Nezarec Sin. I've not gotten a good Nezarec Sin. I've gotten okay ones, but just ones that'd be like, this mod's pretty much useless because I just don't use it. It's pretty much useless because it's like the 1 in a million times I do it. It's freaking glorious. I'm not too keen on the blade since it has all the edges in it, but it's still horrifying, even to me. Not to mention, this is also the only thing we're going to get that's going to look like a Reaper scythe. Oh my god, but I should stop dissing on the weapons just because I've gotten a bad portion of them. This season was absolutely fantastic because it finally brought us into a corner where we had no choice but to work with the Cabal. Granted, we've been working with the Cabal for a period of time now, but this brought us into full-on relationship mode with the Cabal. And also, it brought us into full-on nightmare mode, confronting the biggest pivotal points between all characters and forced them to work together. Keitel, we're all pretty sure Keitel freaking hated Crow for what he did, and Crow hated himself, making him feel as if he was completely inferior to what he's trying to be, or the fact that he fears that he's becoming exactly who he once was, Uldren. And he did, he feared that. Zavala and Zephyriah, whoever his freaking lover was, that was okay. I don't think that would have been as interesting as if his wife. Don't get me wrong, I do like the fact that we did understand that Zavala is getting more of a pivotal point and more storytelling to show, hey, you guys may not like Zavala because of X, Y, and Z.
If it's not one thing, it's
but
another.
You guys should feel at least a little bad for him. And we're like, why? And now they're finally giving us reasons X, Y, and Z.
If
Zavala's
Holiday
been a
asks
broken
about
man
me,
for
tell
some
her
time now. He's been doing this work for years. Ever since we came in on D1, Saint 14 disappeared, and he's had very little of a mentor to teach him how to become the next Vanguard or anything of that sort. Don't get me wrong, Saladin and Saint taught him well, but they never taught him how to be a freaking Vanguard member. Saladin just taught him how to be an Iron Lord, and Saint taught him how to be a defender of justice. Zavala's had to maintain all this crap by himself. Well, of course, with Cyrus, Ikora, Cade, and Andal Brask here and there. But even then, once Cade died, he just now realized he's just as mortal as everyone else around him. He hasn't had the time to grieve or loss because he doesn't want to lose any more friends, and he can't show that weakness because of who he is. He doesn't have anyone else to fall back upon. I mean, for God's sakes, none of the Vanguard have anyone to fall back upon. Ikora doesn't have any freaking proteges that we could fall upon if she dies. Cade didn't have any proteges because we're still currently without a Hunter Vanguard, and we've been without a Hunter Vanguard for the past, what, 3-4 years now? Dear God. So, us finally realizing that Zavala's getting old and he's tired of all the bullshit that he's been having to deal with is a pivotal story plot for him, and I absolutely love it because it's showing the human emotion of the tiring heroism that everyone deals with being a hero, with being in this world, with being constantly doing all these things over and over and over again. Zavala's just the first Guardian we're seeing that, yeah, we didn't have the best history with, but we're finally seeing him in an understanding way of, dear God, Zavala's been through a lot. I mean, we've been here not as long as him. He had a wife, he tried destroying his ghost, he tried committing suicide, he lost his kids, and he's still here living life not wanting to exactly because he's tired. He wants to be done when the world won't be done with him. Keitel's nightmare was Gaul because it's actually a conflicting point. She's working with the murderers of their civilization's greatest hero. It's not exactly the easiest thing to do, especially since to us, Gaul was a monster, and to them, Gaul was a hero. Gaul rose them from the ashes of the fire and made them even better, like a phoenix. And then there's freaking Crow and Uldrensov, making the both of them two sides of the same coin. Crow is slowly realizing he's kind of retaining some information of Uldrensov and reminiscing himself inside Uldrensov. The only thing is he's now realizing that, yeah, he was once Uldrensov, and yeah, he's doing some of the same things like Uldrensov. That doesn't make him Uldrensov. And if he feels he's slowly starting to turn into that part, guess what? He can learn from Uldren's mistakes to not be Uldren. Everyone thinks he's gonna change back into Uldren, but we gotta understand, Uldren was here. Uldren was a human being. Uldren was a thought. He is now just an image, a memory, a lesson to learn from that Crow, a completely new and human being, can learn from.
I want to know who's in charge.
Crow is afraid that he's gonna turn into him, when really Crow needs to realize he just needs to be himself. He needs to turn into himself. He needs to stop fearing about becoming some different person when he can learn from that person's mistakes and completely avoid that person entirely, becoming his own human being. And I love it, because this is the exact freaking change we needed to get Crow to realize, wow, I'm not a monster. I knew a person that I'm slowly realizing was once like me, and I am kind of like him. I'm not a monster. Zavala realizes he's tired, freaking needs to learn how to let go and embrace what's happening now, Keitel realizes that not everyone that was once legendary was perfect. They were monsters too, but they also need to let go of that concept of the past so that way they can progress forward with the future. Otherwise, nothing's going to get done. It's a fantastic, pivotal turning and learning moment for all three characters. That way we can actually get crap done. Zavala did not want us to assassinate Ultransov and did not want to avenge Kate because he didn't want to lose anyone else. He hasn't wanted to do anything unless it involved the safety of the city for some time. He didn't want to work with Rasputin because he didn't think Rasputin would want to work with them, for God's sake. Keitel absolutely hated us and wanted to treat us lesser than her for the sake of the pride of the Cabal, only to realize I am a prideful Cabal and I'm working with them. Not for them, not having them work for me, I'm working with them. Because I pride myself in knowing that they are my allies, and I pride myself in knowing that we can be equals. Instead of making everyone bow to the Cabal. Because there's going to be a force that we've seen that will not bow to us. We've known that force, and in order to defeat it, we need to work together. And Crow's just afraid of being a monster. And that's just the story points of the characters. Then we have the whole freaking story point of the Leviathan coming back. Callus' main reason for being in the system, and giving us a horrifying new look at the Leviathan as well. Oh my god. The lore of the Leviathan is just horrifying entirely. And I don't know if anyone noticed this. I'm going the wrong direction. I don't know if anyone knew this about me, but when it comes to Destiny 2, I know a lot of people hated the Leviathan raids. I freaking loved them. I absolutely loved them. The Leviathan raids were absolutely amazing to me, and I could not get my hands off of them. Just going to this massive Golden Palace, being invited there, all for the sake of freaking wanting to be spoiled and rewarded and challenged for the sake of someone else's entertainment. Yeah, sure. But it was amazing. Callus was like the first raid boss that we ever gave in that actually had a loophole moment, because we could go in there and kill as many men as we wanted and still realize, there's an army of Callus robots. Sick. Leviathan disappearing was horrifying, just because they did a great job at making that quite literally disappear. It disappeared from everywhere. From Nessus, the freaking original menagerie travel ship with the runes, that disappeared too, which was horrifying, because I thought, oh, don't worry, that'll remain, right? Nope. Gone. Nowhere to be seen. And then replacing it with the tank the very next season just hurts. Then having the Leviathan return in such a horrific manner is absolutely glorious in the most terrifying way possible. It is a whole new level of hell that I could not have believed was possible. It is the 10th level of hell, just because in general, it is absolutely disgusting. It is gorgeous in a horrific, Gregorian manner. Everything is just overgrown. The gold is no longer polished. It is over-faded with the concept of darkness, with the sickening touch of absolute and utter villainy. And it's amazing the fact that we had to do all this just to stop a man that we've yet to actually meet. We have not actually, technically speaking, we have not actually faced off with Callus. Don't get me wrong, the final episode, we did technically face against him, or at the very least, the visage of Callus, the very eminence of what he brings to us to make us fight against. That massive holographic head. Oh, I'm getting shot at. Just in general, the overall freaking concept of the Leviathan, the fact that they brought back the entire derelict Leviathan and said, hey, here's a free roamable spot with secrets, lore, weapons, and an infinite amount of people you could just kill because why the frick not, is amazing, and I'm so in love with this concept. Again, especially since I actually loved the Leviathan, based purely off of its idea and design. So I'm going to enjoy this as long as I can before it gets, unfortunately, what's the word? Oh, that's right, sunsetted. I'm going to enjoy this as long as I can before, unfortunately, this gets sunsetted. But hey, at the very least, we will have the Duality Dungeon remaining, which is going to be fantastic. Because even though the Reaper's Scythe, amazing relic, horrifying in nature, and a beautiful design, obviously, for the fact that it being a scythe, a nightmare scythe that we can only construct out of the corpses of our opponents. Purely diligent thinking there. Diligent, amazing, majestic thinking. I'm not gonna lie. It's all amazing. Season struck me without words, especially since this season felt like the perfect continuation to what happened on the events of Shadowkeep. Because I'm not gonna lie, Shadowkeep felt nice, but also felt short-ended. Shadowkeep felt like it had a fantastic idea that was short-sighted due to the fact that they wanted to move into the next season almost immediately afterwards, which just turned into, hey look, the Nightmares are taking over the moon. Hey look, the Vex is taking over the moon. You should probably take care of the Vex right now. The Nightmares will always be there. Who really cares about that? Nightmare. The Vex, though. You can get rid of that right now. Which is amazing, because I actually really like the Nightmare concept. I just hate the fact that we got to do so little of it. Now we're fighting even more nightmares, which kind of brings up the concept of, yes, the nightmares are still around, and also, yes, there's not just a number of nightmares out there, there's an infinite number. There's a nightmare of anything and everything you want dead and or feared out there. And it's gorgeous, the fact that they just kind of reinstated this thought. I mean, for God's sakes, we're fighting up against the Mechanic, we're fighting against the Voda, I think, and we're also fighting against the nightmare of a... whatever its face. A massive Cabal? I think it was a Cabal. It was a Cabal, it was a Fallen, and then it was a Scorn, which was the Mechanic, which is glorious, because I actually missed some of the Forsaken bosses. And the fact that the Forsaken have not come back in any way, shape, or form. It's all disappointing, but hey, that's just my personal opinion. It's not part of the video. Just a little bit of personal fact. Yeah, the fact that they brought back Callus, the Derelict Leviathan's complete makeover, everything is amazing, and it's absolutely fantastic. I cannot stress how much Bungie has truly given this season a well-needed round of applause, well-needed makeover, everything. Now, I will say the fact that the main activity being just exploring the Castellum, as well as the once-weekly Sever quests, were a little disappointing, because it didn't keep me interested. The Sever quests having the in-game cutscenes were pretty cool, the NPCs being there to kind of chat with you, and the fact that each and every week it was the same boss, but a bit of a different layout, a bit of a different situation. I did enjoy that. It made things actually interesting each and every other week, and I'll say, that was pretty sick. I'm not going to argue about that. That was really neat. And it was well needed, because I'm not going to lie, I was getting really sick and tired of having to do the exact same quest every single week, just to deal with the exact same boss every single week. So dealing with the same quest with a different boss was changing, and it was actually just nice enough to make me say, okay, this is acceptable. Now, will this always be acceptable? Maybe for the rest of the semester, the season, until freaking Lightfall returns, and then, who knows, maybe something else will probably be a thing about it. Hey, I was right, it is Navoda. The ugly son of a gun. And then having us clash off against freaking Callus by having them spawn the 3 nightmares we faced off against the Fallen that killed freaking Zephyrides' son, Zephyrides and Zavala's son, Gaul, amazing fight as always. And now the fact that I can fight Gaul again without needing to do a nightmare hunt feels great, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of missed fighting off some of the original bosses from the primary story modes. Fighting off against the massive freaking meatball thing was super stressful the very first time I did it, and I would have loved to have done it again at a higher power level, just so I could have nuked that thing with my 1,000 voices. And same thing for freaking whatever her face was. Aramis, that's what it was. Doing the same thing for Aramis would have been great, but hey, reliving the story mode once was enough of a situation. Hey, doing the story mode once was fun, but, you know, the whole grind, I gotta get this whole new power thing unlocked, I gotta grind, I gotta do this, yada yada yada. And then there's freaking the Witch Queen, which I actually can replay and do whatever I want with, so I'm not even complaining about the Witch Queen. That gets an A+ and gold star from me. For the ability to replay the missions all we wanted was a very big change, and I actually enjoyed that just because it was a very nice change. You could go back to the weekly quests and replay them. If I wanted to, I could do that right now if I wanted to, and that's really nice. Instead of having to do the quests once and be done. And having them all centered in one boxed off area was relieving. Because I'm not gonna lie, what happened in, what was it, Season of the Splicer was unbelievably annoying. Because I had to look at so many different quests, got lost so many different times, just trying to figure out which quest I was at, trying to kill, or trying to take care of the one boss in the corrupted maze, or in the corrupted freaking firewall, or this, or that, or whatever. So seeing the Splicer really just jacked me up because I had to go to 3 different locations just to do one quest, and it was unbelievably annoying. As for this, all I had to do was the freaking moon. I had to go to the moon every single time for all 7 quests, which was unbelievably refreshing, and I'm absolutely happy about that. Granted, yes, the fact of doing exactly what we just did, freaking the Nightmare Containment, this being the entire weekly activity along with the weekly missions being the only new thing to really get from, the only new real activity from all this, was interesting of a sort.
Turns out everyone has a skeleton.
But once you do this same activity once every week, it always gets a little old. Especially since this is the main area you do to waste your vestiges of dread. So wasting your vestiges of dread, making this place the only place you can spend your vestiges of dread, and then freaking giving you a crap ton of quests saying you need to waste thousands and thousands and thousands of vestiges of dread, was a bit tedious. I'll admit that. Don't get me wrong, this activity is fun, but once you do the exact same boss, since the boss rotates every day, and it doesn't rotate every freaking time you do it, which again, I think that would be an amazing thing to do, rotate the boss every other time. Granted, it would be random chance, and it'd screw you over here and there, but I don't know. Maybe make it not random chance, maybe put it on a rotator, I don't know. I couldn't really tell you about that. What I would say is that this. The fact that they gave us back the Leviathan, amazing. The fact that they gave us back the Menagerie weapons, and even more weapons after that, both for the sake of the derelict Leviathan and for the sake of the Duality Dungeon, was fantastic and a great A choice. The story was amazing. That actually made everyone break out of their shell and push them even further than what they were before. And making us deal with the brand new nightmares and the brand new bosses, and making us use those characters in an enlightened way, made us look back to them in an even brighter note. We all hated Uldrenself. We all hated Uldrenself. So seeing Uldren in a better light was different. I didn't like the idea of it at first, but then seeing the fact that Uldren was a hero to his people, and, you know, the Awoken Prince, I kind of sat there and realized, oh my god, that's right. He was, at least to a few people, a good man. And we've always just seen him as the a-hole that no one likes. So, you know, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You did a great job at that bunch. You did an amazing job on this whole season. Personal story-wise, external story-wise, and just in general, storytelling-wise for the primary plot points of the game. For anyone who doesn't know, I always treat Destiny 2 as it has 3 stories. The primary story, aka the main DLC, the secondary story, aka the seasons, be that the Season of the Haunted, Season of the Awoken, Season of the this, Season of that, whatever. And then the final, aka being the background story. Basically the lore that we hear about in the background. So when the Leviathan disappeared, there was actually lore about the Leviathan disappearing, and we even got some of that in freaking the Deadman's Tale Exotic Quest. But aside from that, we didn't get anything else. That was part of the background story, and I love the fact that they added that into the background story. Learning that freaking... what was that chick's name? Amanda Holiday is no longer speaking to Crow wasn't necessarily... necessary. It wasn't really necessary for the sake of the story, but it was still really cool to see that get added to the game, because Amanda Holiday is a character in this game. She is a part of the universe. And to see her just get sidetracked here and there is absolutely annoying. It's really getting annoying to see characters get made only to be completely ignored the very next season, or the very next DLC, or heck, until the very next game. There's some characters that haven't been in this game in a while. Shiro 4 being a fantastic example of that. Oh god, I miss Shiro.
I am here for
and there's Benedict 9940. But I still absolutely love the fact that they just did an amazing job with this season. Individual characters for all 360 story, because this propelled us for the information. The primary story making us realize, oh my god, we might not win this, since the egregore is now quite literally crawling all over the helm that's currently orbiting the moon, and the moon, and words, you know, am I right? Freaking... God freaking helm is now in lockdown mode. So whatever's gonna happen next season, we're probably not gonna have a helm, for God's sake, which is a horrifying concept.
I have seen it set broken bones, replace lost skin, even reconstruct someone from a pile of ash. With that kind of gift, it can be easy to think of yourself as invincible, immune to harm. But trust me, Guardian, there are some wounds that even the light cannot heal.
And even this, it gives us more personal story and more about the individual characters. You can find crap like that about Crow, Zephyria, and freaking Gaul almost all around the derelict Leviathan, and it's amazing. They did, and they put so much into this one season. I'm gonna absolutely hate it when it gets removed from the game. I really am, because this season is absolutely amazing. Another thing I'm gonna hate is the fact that this freaking scythe is gonna be gone. Don't get me wrong, I am absolutely happy that they made that into a finisher. I'm never removing that from my primary finisher now. It is my permanent finisher. Anytime someone's getting close to death, I'm just gonna whip out a scythe out of nowhere and just make him regret life. Yeah. The season's been absolutely amazing on multiple fronts. It has propelled the primary story. It has made the secondary story interesting and has allowed us to question what's going to happen next season, now that Calus is working directly for the Witness, and he's still offering us quote-unquote salvation, as well as he's given us interesting quote-unquotes to quotas to what the heck's going on between Eris Morn's relationship with the Drifter, now that there's something going on between those two and the power on the moon. So that's a scary concept of whatever the heck's going to happen in the upcoming future. But it was also interesting and nice to know that Drifter's finally going to be added to the story again. I really miss Drifter. He was an amazing addition to Beyond Light. And I just miss the bearded rat joining in on the game some more. Even also maybe just the Exo Stranger. Not gonna lie, if the next season involved the Exo Stranger, even the slightest bits, or just in general the upcoming lore involving her, that's fantastic with me. You will not hear any complaints with me. The Exo Stranger is such a well-built character that once they just added her into Beyond Light and she just pretty much told us the truth flat out, it kind of killed her character. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too keen on it. I'm rambling on about stuff that's not part of the season. Overall, this season was amazing, and I'm dead center going to give this season a 10 out of 10. This was amazing, Bungo. The weapon design, the lore, everything was amazing. I could dock off some ratings or whatever by saying this activity is boring, but you guys got to understand, this is just if you only log on to be like, oh man, I wonder what the brand new thing is. Oh, I just get to free roam this old location that's been touched up a little bit. It's annoying to some people, but at the same time, the fact that they added in a public event here and the ability to free roam what was once a raid location is still fantastic, and it's something that they don't often do. So I'm not going to complain about it, even though there are certain aspects that could be complainable. I'm not going to let that dock or interfere with the concept of what this season has done such an amazing job about. So yeah, this season's amazing, this activity's amazing, the dungeon, even though I haven't played it myself, I have seen the footage of it. I know just how difficult and interesting it is, seeing that Keitel and Galron are nightmares of Calus, and that entire dungeon was just a trap so that way we could help Calus move on from his fears to join the whatever it is, the nothingness, that freaking, the salvation that freaking what's his face is providing. Witness. Oh, hi, big buddy. You want a rocket? Did not want a rocket. all amazing, and I'm so happy that we got to learn more about the Witness and Callus and finally answer some questions that I thought were going to be completely left unanswered throughout the rest of the time in Destiny 2. And then again, I've always been wrong once, I'll probably be wrong again. Maybe there's some really unexpected reasons as to why Callus is doing this, and I'm never going to guess. But until then, we already have the answer question. So, yeah. I got nothing else to question, I got nothing else to complain about, and I've got nothing else to compliment. The season was absolutely amazing. And I'm trying to kill this thing so we can end the video, but unfortunately it's not wanting to die. Oh well, back in the caves I go. Nope. But anyways, that is all for this time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and the review as always. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you, Legend Players, next video. Bye-bye!